My dad is obsessed with cars.
Which cars?
Saabs.
Hello, welcome to another video. This one's slightly special as we're at the NEC on the first day of the Classic Motor Show, and Matt and I are here on the Saab Owners Club stand for a rather special event.
Yeah, we're celebrating 40 years of the Turbo 16 engine. It was released in early '84. Due to problems, most of the 900 T16Ss didn't come over till much later in the year, but it's basically been 40 years, 1 month, 2 weeks and 2 halls away from where most of the British public saw a car for the first time, me included, and we have a very similar silver car with red interior as to what people saw then.
It's almost like you've been counting down the days for the last 40 years.
Won't go that far, it's certainly about a year.
Yeah. So we're going to take a look at the stand, have a get to know some of the cars here, chat to the owners a little bit more. We're also going to be asking people as they come on the stand, what is it about Saabs that they love, that has retained their interest over 40 and obviously more years than that. And also as car enthusiasts, we're not going to look at Saabs, we're going to go a little bit further, have a see what else is out there and have a good look around. So come and join us, I hope you enjoy the video. So I'm here with Fraser and his 1984 car. Fraser, what's the story of this car?
Well, 2016, the 900 LPT I had rusted through, so I thought I'll buy another one, probably my last one. I've never had a 16-valve, 3-door turbo. I was looking, couldn't find one in this country. Spread the net to Europe, found one in Spain, had it all sorted, the lawyer, the flights, the hotel, and the day before I was due to fly out, got a message, the car's sold. Oh, so back on the search, found Snufkin in Finland, found the seller up, went out a couple of days later, had a great time, and the deal was sealed and I drove it back. So the guy I bought it off, he has the largest collection of the older rally cars in the world. Some of them are in museums and he rallies them, so he was a real enthusiast. He'd had his 99 turbo, this was the 900 turbo. He just wanted to concentrate on the older cars. He had like Eric Carlson's mechanic's car and Tommy Mackinnon's car and all the paraphernalia that goes with it, all the bags and the magazines and just articles, so that's what he was concentrating on. So the car was up for sale with all the spares as well. So he loaded it up and I couldn't find anybody to transport it back from Scandinavia. Spain, no problem, ferry every week. Scandinavia, okay, I'll just fly out there and drive it back. So
how long did it take you to drive back?
Drove from his place to Helsinki, got the ferry from Helsinki overnight to Germany, and drove across Germany to the Hook of Holland. It's probably 2 days.
Right, and no incidents on the way home?
No.
Perfect.
No.
And have you done anything to the car since?
Repainted the body kit because I found a car that was in Hungary, 2009, it was advertised for sale, that was the same colour, with the same wheels and the whale tail,
yeah.
And it had the body kit painted like this, and I thought, I like that.
Yeah.
So, and I've done the clutch, and that's about it. It's called Snufkin because I loved the Moomins as a kid. Snufkin's the traveller archetype, So he's travelled from Finland to here, therefore he's called Snufkin.
Oh, I owned one back in the day, and they're bulletproof. That's why I love them.
They're just so different, and they also look really cool as well. I really like them, especially this red one. It's just mint, really nice.
What I like about it the most, to be honest with you, is the shape. I love the shape. It's very different, and still to this day, it just looks amazing.
Well, my dad had one in 1988, black over tan, just like this one here, and something just stuck with me. I was 11 years old, and I remember the sound as well. The sound of the burble of the T16, just a magic sound.
They're just a bit weird. There's nothing in particular. They're just so quirky and so unique, and there's nothing around these days that's really like them.
I learnt to drive in a 1971 Saab 99. And at the time when I was sort of late teens, my dad had a 1985 turbo 900 turbo 16, just like this one, metallic silver.
The design, the aerodynamics, at the time people thought it was a bit quirky, but looking at it now, it just holds its own on Monday roads. Phenomenal car, phenomenal engineering, just so sad that we don't really have a modern day Saab on the road.
Absolutely, the peak analog feel to the car. Really feel connected with the vehicle, and it's just keeps you awake.
I think it's the distinctive styling. You know, even when the car was new in the 80s, and I would have been, I suppose I was young at the time, but they always stood out as a distinctive car. You know, there were. You could always pick a Saab out on the road.
Perfect shape, and even though it's 30, 40 odd years old, it still looks amazing.
So Chris, you're the chair of the Saab Owners Club. How's the day gone today?
It's gone very well. We've had a lot of interest in the stand. It's not surprising, we've got some beautiful cars on display. The 900 is always, a firm favourite for Saab fans. I think Saab at the moment is getting a bit of a resurgence. Obviously it's a brand that's been defunct for some time now. People are very interested in Saab. They're still relatively affordable cars, I suppose, in the classic car world. And they're well maintained. They don't cost a lot of money to run. So lots of people come into the stand, lots of people asking about the cars.
How do you join the club if you want to become a member?
Okay, so to join the club, you can just join online. So you can find us online, just basically look for Saab Club membership. We produce a magazine, which is at the moment is 5 magazines a year. We cover all of the classes. We have technical support, technical help. We have the standard sort of technical forum where people can write in and ask their questions and so on.
What are parts like to get these days?
They're pretty good. There's a lot of part suppliers now that are remanufacturing parts. I suppose some of that is because obviously Saab are defunct. So you haven't got the patents, you haven't got the parts basically just being produced by the manufacturer. But that has pros and cons. But the parts are generally sort of quite easily to get hold of now.
Brilliant. Why are there only 900s on the stand this year?
Okay, good question. So it's 40 years of the 16 since the launch of the 16-valve turbo engine. Now, before that, in the late 70s, they brought out the 8-valve engine, which was very successful, very durable. This really was the 16-valve was a massive improvement over the 8-valve. It was really sort of taking the Saab 900 to the next level. So they wanted it to be an executive car that could compete for business with BMW, with Audi, dare I say it, even Porsche, which is obviously quite a bold claim. But they were looking at that marketplace and they needed an engine that had both the performance, the durability, and the 16-valve engine was it. So it's 40 years of the Saab 900. It's a great opportunity to get these cars out and to show everyone, and obviously everyone loves the 900. It is the iconic Saab.
So I'm here with Morty. You've heard everything about Morty. You don't need to hear from me about this, but we've got a special guest, at least a special guest from me here, in the fact that Dave Palmer, who is the chap who looked after Morty, brought Morty back from the dead almost, is here. Dave, thanks for coming onto the channel. What's your history with Morty, What have you done with him?
What have I done with this? Yeah, I bought the car. I bought the car in Wales. It'd been sitting in a garage for about 12 years. Hadn't been driven. I went to the car. I pumped up the tyres. I put a battery on it. Pumped the clutch and drove the car out the garage. Then got it back to the workshop. Looked at it, cleaned it, stripped it all down, took all the engine out, went through everything, pistons, rings, everything, interior ripped out, headlinings, and just went through the whole thing, but keeping the car as original as I possibly could, otherwise you're diversifying away from what it actually is.
And I've been to your garage and it's absolutely chock-a-block full of Saabs. What is it about Saabs that you love?
What is it? Well, I've been working on Saabs 40 years now, which I didn't realise until I bought this car, because the only reason I realised it's 39 years was I worked on these when they were brand new and they come off the transport, and I went, yeah, it's 39, 40 years ago. So I just find them easy to do. People lift up the engine, see the engine ran the wrong way, and they run the other way and they don't get it, but they're easy to do.
And you've got Perry here with you as well. Perry, you worked on these cars as well as an engineer. What is it about Saabs you love?
They're just quirky, aren't they? I mean, like Dave says, when they lift the bonnet up, it's all arse about face. And, you know, people tend to think, oh, that crankshaft pulley should be at the front, where it's in the back, and they start panicking. And that's where me and Dave come in.
On record, thank you very much, Dave, for working on Morty and selling him to me.
Lovely. Well, it's nice to see you actually got the car and you're out enjoying it, which is what it's all about. You know, people get them. And as I said, with this, I didn't want to make it perfect, pristine, because I've been to car shows where they put mirrors under the cars. You're not driving the car. You know, it's too much. You can drive this. It's nice, tidy, respectable, and it's an everyday car. And you can use it.
Since I got this from you, I've done a couple of things like my gear knob. Now, you like that in particular, don't you?
No, the gear knob is wrong. The gear knob is wrong. It's a later gear knob on an old car, which is not my theme for the car. Otherwise, I would have changed the wheels to 16-inch ones and rear handbrake. I wanted it as it was. So yeah, you've ruined it with that.
So far, I spent nearly all day chatting to people on the Saab stand, which has been great fun, chatting about 900s and all the other Saabs as well. But I think now I'm going to go for a walk, see what else is at the show, see what else takes my interest. So I've stopped at the Lancia stand meeting Alex, who is both a Saab owner of a 900 and a Lancia Beta owner. Alex, I'm going to ask you the really awkward question. Lancia or Saab?
It's a very, very tough call. I like both of the cars for completely different reasons. The Saab is sort of very practical, very fast. It's a sort of great GT car. The Beta is sort of very sort of fizzy, very sporty. It's a very tough call. I think probably a dead heat.
Oh, good answer, good answer. And on the Lancia stand here, which is your favourite?
Oh, again, this is really hard. The Beta coupe here, this green very early coupe is probably the most similar to my own car. The Volume X, especially with the Stratton body kit on it, is incredibly special. Not very many of those at all. But sort of over here we have the Spider and a Monte Carlo. So it's a really tough choice between them. In fact, you could say you'd want them all, but
Yeah.
I'd probably stick with a 1600 coupe.
So Matt, we know about your car already. It featured heavily in the last video, but I see something's changed since the last time I've seen it. What have you done?
Well, we've got a couple of things. There's a lot of accessories on the car anyway, but I've got everything on it now, including the roof bars, which is genuine, and they look a bit silly if you don't put anything on them. So we've got skis as it's winter. The latest change though is the stripe kit, which is from Latvia Saab Classics, all the way from Latvia. They've reproduced them from the early 80s 900 accessories. So they get them cut for you, whatever colour you like. So I've had them fitted in anthracite. It's growing on me quite a lot. I quite like it now, but it's a bit of a Marmite thing. Some people like it, some people won't.
Have you had comment on it today?
Most people like it, but I suppose the ones that don't are probably being polite. I'm not saying anything.
Nice. Thanks very much, Matt.
Okay.
Only one?
Only the one.
Probably the red one.
The Talladega red or the
yeah,
ruby red?
the Talladega red. I don't know. I'm not a red person, but that car just looks stunning.
Sandy,
Yeah,
which one would you take?
they're all
over
excellent. It's the black one for me, unfortunately. I had a red one just like this, but I was just drawn to the black one immediately. That's how you caught me today.
I guess the metallic silver one, because it was most similar to the one that my parents owned at the time.
Probably the ruby 900. Why? Just the colour is, again, it looks, I mean, you said it's just been restored, but it's an incredible colour.
Now, they're all to a very high standard. They're all impeccably turned out. But I suppose this car, in terms of my own preference, the colour combination, the black finished with the tan interior.
Black over tan, it's got to be. It's iconic. It's on the front cover of the book. It's the one. Very, very difficult decision. 4 very lovely 900s here. I think I'd have to take the silver one. I think it would have to be the very first one.
I think the black one. The black one.
Yeah, why?
Oh, because of the colour. I love the colour in it. I love the wheels. And I love your interior as well.
I'd have to say I'd have the ruby red one, the last one. I think the colour is just absolutely stunning.
So Tom, you're here with your Ruby. What's the story with you in the car?
Well, the car was originally built, as a lot of the Rubies were, in 1993. It was a company director's car, and he liked it so much that he actually bought it from the company. He then took it to Abbott Racing and had a load of their tune-up parts added to it. And when he finally sold it, he sold it on to the person from whom I bought it. So it's been in the ownership of the same person for 25 odd years. I bought the car in 2019. It was a little bit sorry looking because, as a lot of these do, the red paint had faded and the lacquer had flaked a little bit. So I decided to do a restoration. I embarked on the project, but then work got in the way, and I consigned the car over to Simon at 2 Refinish, who did the paint work and finished off some of the mechanical bits and pieces to bring it into this absolutely gorgeous condition it is now. I've been enjoying it for the past couple of years, going to shows and loving it for what it is.
And do you drive it every day as your everyday, or do you just sort of look after it?
It's a weekend car. I have to say it's too nice to be out on salty roads, but it does go to a lot of shows in the year, so yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Matt, it's day 3, we're at the end of the Classic Motor Show. It's Sunday evening, it's just coming up to 5 o'clock. How's it been for you?
Busy, very busy. It's been wonderful. I'm absolutely exhausted. About you?
Yes, I am, I think, 1 level down from catatonic on the old exhaustion scale.
Like a zombie, I think, at the moment.
It's been a great show though, hasn't it?
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah. I've been really happy with how many young people we've had on the stand. getting really interested in the cars.
Yeah.
And I think for me, they've not got the nostalgia. They don't have the history of it.
No.
So actually, they just like the cars because they're cool cars to them.
I think there's a lot of it in TV and film now, isn't there? The 80s stuff,
Yes.
Stranger Things, things like that. I think there's a coolness to them, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think Ludwig on BBC, they've got a Saab 900 sedan on there, so you're starting to see them again. And it's great for the future of the club, and it's great for the future of these cars, because we're not going to be around forever.
No.
And the way I'm feeling, I'm not sure I'm going to be around for the rest of this evening either. So we get to see. But it has been a really, really great show. Would you recommend people come next year?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a sort of idea that it's really old cars, and of course it is old cars, but some of the stuff is 90s, 2000s. There's something for everybody.
So I think it's all that's left to say is, if you're not a member of the Saab Owners Club and you own a Saab, or you like Saab and you don't own a Saab, then there's no excuse not to join the club, is there really?
Absolutely, no
Yeah.
excuse at all.
And I think there's a few people to thank.
Yeah, this show is incredibly busy, incredibly hard work, and we've had loads of support here today from members past and and future, especially Ellie, Shaw, Chris, Dave, yourself. You've put a massive shift in. Fraser, who's bought the silver one, and Tom, who's bought the ruby. We couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. And thank you as well. If you came along to the show and you chatted with us, then it was a real pleasure to meet you as well. If you came along on Sunday, I apologise if I was a bit exhausted and spaced out, but there you go. I sort of underestimated how tiring being stood up for 3 days.
I'm not going to tell you the truth, was I?
No, you said it's going to be a breeze. Yeah. And these are the only 2 chairs we had. But there we go, we all took in turns. And I think we've got something special coming at the end. It's your favourite bit, isn't it?
Yes, at 5 o'clock, they're going to blast 3,000 car horns inside a confined space. And if we didn't feel bad enough already, after that, we're going to have a headache.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, it's terrible, yeah.
I think we need to get our earmuffs ready.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen,